Are we? Are we? Says we are live. Hello, everyone who is here. Let's see if I can hear myself. It should be live. Oh, hold on. Do I sound okay? Says we are live. Hello, everyone. Okay, that was me. Sorry. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Movie Crap Live Oscars reaction thing. Let's send the tweet out. Get rid of that. And Oscars and bust. Anyway, hello. Welcome to everyone to this special Oscars reaction live. Hello to Austin, Jordan Salafalo, Cornbread. Everybody, welcome. I just see those people in the chat right now. But anyone else who's watching, welcome. Why does... Oh, Sinram's here. Why does live have two different ways of saying it? What? I'm confused. Anyway, shouldn't have two different. I'm confused by that. But I did remember... Thank you, Cornbread, for remembering to tweet. For that, I will switch over to... Yes, I'm wearing the tux. It fit. I figured out the tie. An actual better timing than I thought I would, which is pretty good. But yeah, it was a week. It was cool. I don't really want to talk about other stuff. I will talk about that if I get to do another stream this month, maybe just one on news and stuff like that. But I will pour the energy drink, but I feel like that should be for super chats. Thank you, Cornred, for the... Did I spell live wrong? I'm a little lost on this. Did I spell live wrong somewhere? I didn't think I did. Did I? I'm lost on... Maybe I did. Anyway, I'm lost on this whole live thing. No bow tie? Oh, come on. The fact that this happened is a miracle in itself. Anyway, thank you for saying I look like an Oscar winner. That's yeah, we're just going to be talking about the Oscars and obviously the Little Mermaid trailer, which was part of the Oscars. But anything that is not about that, I'm not talking about. So if you come here for movie news, this is movie news. This is actual movie news, but it is just specifically that. Anyway, sorry, that freaked me out about the spelling wrong because I am not the best at smelling. I'm having a Whoopi Goldberg moment here. Oh, well, I'm sorry, Zodberg. I don't think I saw you. I wasn't sure if you were back. I didn't want to give you a shout out until you're back. But anyway, I will pour the energy drink with the first super chat. I have a glass. I have the, I won't tell you what it is. I think you know. But we're just going to talk about that. So I guess I will do, oh, okay. I see what we're doing with there. Or Live the Band. Did they make a live album, the band Live? Because what would you call that? I've wondered that forever. Would it be Live? And like, why wouldn't you? Anyway, I don't like the band Live. That's just a question I've been wondering since the 90s. Anyway, I just want to say I'm happy a movie I liked won, and that is really cool. And it is cool when it's a movie you actually kind of give a shit about, like majorly. It's fine when it's like, you know, Nomadland, and you're like, that's a good movie, but like, and I think about that movie sometimes, but it's not like you know, I've never rewatched it. And does anyone, not to be a jerk, but like this and Parasite, I think were one of the more favorite Oscar winners of recent memory. Anyway, thank you, Super Daska. I'm going to do the whole, you know, spiel about the Patreon Discord. Then we will get into the full thing. Let's do... I mean, this is the only time, by the way, Nathaniel Foga, I really bring out the suit. But it's like, suits, when you're older, just sit in your closet. And it's like, I get to use this at least once a year. Which is cool, you know, good use of stuff. All right, I'll quiet on the Embla T. That was good. I'll quiet on the Oscar front. I like that. All right. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through super chats during the show or through my Patreon. If you do a super chat, I will, of course, read it out during the show. But everything is supported by you, whether I make stickers, which those have been doing actually really great for me, promotional material, new equipment, just things to improve the channel. I really do invest it all back into the channel, and it helps me grow and be able to do other things. So I really thank you very much for your support. Patreon has all sorts of stuff like postcards that are about to go out. You get the commentary series. You get all sorts of exclusive stuff, including more voting power in the movie review vote. It's pretty cool. You get a little more engagement, and you get the videos sent to you in a whole other way as well. So if you're financially able to do so, either a super chat during the show, and you see me drink a champagne glass full of whatever energy drink this is, and I guess I let that go. Damn it, I shouldn't have told anyone that. Or through the Patreon, I very much appreciate it if you are financially able to do so. If not, and you just want to give a like to this video and you are watching, thank you at least for that. That's really cool. I suggest you subscribe because you get more updates and you get to know when this is happening in other videos. Go to your feed. But whatever you want to do, I'm cool with. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Alnick. Also, there is the Discord. If you like everyone in the chat here, go check out the Discord. You get you get to hang out with these people 24 hours a day. There's, people will respond to your questions, stuff like that. Not like right away, but you can post in it 24 hours a day. Zane Powers and Austin run a really great server. They have movie nights. They have, an Ask Jim channel where you can ask me questions anytime. I eventually get to them. And I even ask, hey, what did you want me to focus on during the show and stuff like that. So it's a really great community. And if you're into Discord, I very much recommend it. Those are in the description down below, as well as follow me on TikTok, Instagram, both personal and for videos, and Twitter and all that stuff. Twitter, Tumblr, I think they're all down there. Facebook, it's all in the description if you would like to follow it, and I very much appreciate it. Yes, also Cornbread's thumbnail predictions are fucking great, I gotta say. I should have suggested you do one for this one. I don't know why I didn't. That's my bad. I was thinking about it. I should ask him to, and I didn't. Anyway, all right. I will, since no one has done a super chat yet, I will get out. I'm just gonna have to take a drink. I have a champagne glass this time because I thought it's the Oscars. This is some classy shit. I have the classic Red Bull. I do sugar-free. I thought, let's bring it back for this one as a special night. Please don't explode in here. That's going to be a fucking mess. I want to clean up. Okay. Then we're going to do... Let's do this. There we go. Champagne glass full of Red Bull. I think I can... There's still some more in here, so we can go. Look at that. Look at that. Almost looks like I'm drinking champagne, like I'm a classy gentleman. I'm going to drink a little bit. I hope this encourages some of the super chat stuff. But cheers to you. Don't mean to be e-baking, but come on. It's in a champagne glass. Give me a break here. Made it. Happy Monday. Watched Marcel the Shell. Awesome. Marcel the Shell is great. I wish it had won, actually. Cheers to you, Austin, for being the first super chat. Cheers, cheers. This is just a limited thing. I'm going to take a drink for myself because this suit is hot. And there we go. Marcel, I actually sort of was a little, even though I like Pinocchio a lot, I was getting a little nostalgic. Like, wouldn't it be nice if Marcel won? Like, wouldn't that be nice? Like, it's pretty good. Would anyone have been that upset? Anyway, my initial reaction to the whole thing is, oh, you had the day off. Congratulations, Austin. And I think you asked me about Red Bulls. I recommend those sugar-free, but be careful with energy drinks in general. I think coffee's a little better for you. But my honest reaction to the whole show is I don't like Jimmy Kimmel very much, but it was still somehow a good show in spite of that. I was worried because I think when you have an award show that has a sudden big moment, and I've seen this happen a couple times. The first time I think I saw it was the Golden Globes where like Titanic and Good Will Hunting won. And then I saw it with the Kanye Taylor Swift thing. I've seen it a couple other times when there's a spontaneous big award show, or even one that like, oh, you don't like coffee. Well, then forget it. I don't know. Sorry. Do your best. Just be careful. The next one by default is a reaction to that one, and usually not as good because they're trying to, and I thought after the slap last year, and that was such a sudden moment. I think everybody looked at the slap last year, and I think that was such a sudden moment. And you had this cool, calm celebrity having his moment and ruining his own night, which I don't think we've ever seen to that degree. Like, more so than the part in A Star Is Born where that happens. Like, you couldn't even make up how kind of train wreck ish that is. And I know people are back in business with them, and we'll see what happens. But what I think, I still think it was a good show. And most of the reactions, like the slap jokes, I expected, and I think most people did. I think it was very smart of Chris Rock to do this special right before, because that was like the furthest you could do it, build up anticipation, and also I think you weren't going to get a better reaction than Chris Rock's, or a better joke than Chris Rock's. So it didn't seem like they really tried. I don't think Jimmy Kimmel, I don't know, the crisis team and like the incident Oscars thing, if that had just been the one joke, it would have been fine. But I wasn't looking forward to that part of it. However, the other reaction to it, to last year's, was the animation category. We had The Rock and Emily Blunt, and they were very serious about animation, and The Rock like explaining actually what the word meant, which I thought was both like, let's take this seriously and let's actually have some fun with taking it seriously, which I actually kind of thought that was pretty cool. It wasn't just like, we're going to be overly serious, which I do think you should do for the medium. But at the same time, like, that was funny, So I thought that was like a good balance, actually. And after that, it didn't seem like there was much reaction. It seemed to be doing its own thing and having its own energy, which I think you want. And it didn't, in terms of the winners, I really liked a lot of the winners. I didn't see All Quiet on the Western Front, but it had a really good energy to it. And, but I do think, like, I wish, like, in my mind, like, you have Stephen Colbert, you have Amber Ruffin, you have Seth Meyers. They should be the people you're suggesting to host the Oscars. Anyone who's not that, I don't think, I think those should be your three you try to get. And I know they're not Disney stars, but like, yeah, I don't know. I do notice, well, let me, two things. I think it's just like, I'm not sure how to fix the out of sync thing. I just don't have the time, unfortunately, because these are put together so kind of quickly, or otherwise they just wouldn't happen. So I apologize for that. Zane Powers, it's just kind of like the fact of the matter, and I don't get to do a lot of testing, so I would actually like to do that, but thank you for bringing that to my attention. Either way, but Austin, first off, cheers to you. It says The Rock was disappointed Super Pets wasn't nominated. I'm sure he was, especially after all the... He also handled the Black Adam thing well on the red carpet, and everyone was like, oh, he should have been mean and confrontational. I'm like, no, he handled that very well. I thought that was also a good way after those shitty articles about him. He's like, no, let me be diplomatic. I thought that was a smarter move. So cheers to Austin, cheers to Rock. Oh, we have a couple things here. Austin says, the certainty was a slap of reality for the Oscars. It certainly was a slap of reality for the Oscars. That's true. Sorry. That's a good quote, Ethanophobe. Good for you. You should tweet that. Cheers to you. If you do you tweet? I think you do. Sinram said, the first Oscar show I saw was in 1989. I'd gone with my grandma to see Rain Man a few days before. Then I was enthralled by Melanie Griffith. I do not remember. I did not see the 1989 Oscars. I'm sure she was pretty cool in it. I can't react to that. But I remember watching a few in the 90s, but I think the first one I really watched, like beginning to end, was 98. But I watched like the beginning of it. But cheers to you, Sinram. That sounds cool. 1989 would have been honoring 1988, by the way. So that was not the Driving Miss Daisy, I think was the other one. But cheers to you, Sinram. I like that story. That was the one thing I liked how the show started, because my daughter stayed up and it had categories that were both thrilling and like, here's what the Oscars are, and animated feature. I do actually think animated feature would make a great one, not to like demean the medium or anything, but I think it's like kids don't get to stay up that long, and hit them with the category where they'll actually care about that and they've heard or seen most of the movies. and she had seen, I think she thought Pinocchio looked scary. So I don't know if I wanted to take her to the MoMA exhibit. I'm hoping I can get to that. I don't know. But the I think that was a good one to start off with, because the kids who do get to stay off for a little bit have something that they can get into, and then the best supporting actor and actress were like these amazing, like they were like real highlights of the whole show. So I think it was like a really good way to start it off. It did sort of like ruin the flow. Like usually they do a couple tech and then acting and then, you know, mix it around so you don't get too like you know, bored by the tech stuff. But at the same time, I did think overall the show worked. It's just like at the time you're like, oh, there's been a while since I've seen like one of the major and it felt like all the major stuff was in the last hour, the big categories that everyone freaks out about. Not to say the other ones weren't, but I think you know, that might have been better, and especially like they did documentary and then live action short. Like what was that? Was strange, because I kept watching it going like, wait, these aren't documentaries though? Like it was just confusing. And same with having animated short so much later. It's like that could have been done like after the supporting actors things. Like I get like hitting with a running start, but like that could have been handled better. Same with documentary. I didn't like how they did that. Yeah, I wanted to when I was a kid, I only cared about best visual effects. I think that's a category people generally still, like the general public and most people do care about, because that's usually the fun movies. And especially like back then it was like, oh, how did they actually do that? Like I remember like I didn't like first off, cheers to you, Instagram. Cheers to you. I remember when I was a kid, I didn't even like because I was getting into film and everyone told me Independence Day was not cool, and but I still liked how they did the fire with the flamethrower in the city. It's like I still like seeing the behind the scenes and some of that. Now it's just like all computers, so maybe it's not as cool. But the best visual effects this year, I think, obviously was going to go to Avatar. That was kind of who else could get who else was going to get that other than Avatar: The Way of Water, and it made sense. I was like, you have to just give that to them. I was worried when All Quiet was winning so many things. I'm like, you fucking give it to this. And I had heard in some certain categories, if All Quiet wins in this, start getting worried, and it didn't win in the things like adapted and things like that. Which also Sarah Polley winning was great. But I think certain things like Everything Everywhere All at Once winning 7 awards. Michelle Yeoh being the second actress of color to win, as well as the first Asian actress to win. It's also like she's fucking Michelle Yeoh. It's just like she has such a cinematic legacy, which I think you saw with a lot of the actors in this. None of almost all of the people, other than Brendan Fraser, who didn't start till the 90s, 3 out of the 4 had hits in the 80s. And pretty significant hits in the 80s, which was insane. And Michelle Yeoh, I think, like, really, like, when I reviewed it and rewatched it recently, it's like, that movie's not the movie without her. And even, like, I think it's also, like, if it had been, originally it was Jackie Chan, I think that'd be an entirely different movie. It's, like, so based on her performance-wise and everything. I think it just, you know, it was so well-deserved. Her speech was great. I think there was kind of this elephant in the room of like, typically like whoever wins Best Actor presents Best Actress, and having them both come out at doing both the acting categories, lead actor and support, the lead categories and supporting categories together, I think removed the Will Smith awkwardness. And then of course Jimmy Kimmel had to remind everyone right away after. But it did seem like they were kind of distancing themselves from that, which I thought was good. And in a way that was not acknowledging it. But Halle Berry giving it to her. I mean, it is crazy that, first off, 2 Pierce Brosnan Bond girls now have Oscars. And also crazy that if Die Another Day had, when I was researching that Michelle Yeoh video, if Die Another Day had worked out the way they wanted, Michelle Yeoh and Halle Berry would have actually had screen time together, but that didn't happen. So, which is kind of just not to like plug my own shit, but it's just like I did think of like, oh man, that would have been insane. So I guess Famke Janssen and Denise Richards will definitely get Oscars. We joke now, but like, wouldn't that be crazy? Like a perfect every Bond girl in every. It's Famke Janssen because she's the bad guy. Is it the other lady in Goldeneye? Anyway, I think I don't know, but Rosamund Pike does get a lot of nominations, and she was in Die Another Day, but yeah, Kiwi Kwan I think definitely made me cry. I thought that was the speech of the moment. It's also like. I grew up with that guy. I wasn't allowed to see Temple of Doom, so Temple of Doom was a big movie for me. He was in Goonies. He was just like a part of me growing up. So it was like seeing him win in such a way was honestly absolutely thrilling. I've actually already heard Warner Brothers is even more considering a Goonies remake, but or a Goonies follow-up, but we'll see about that one. Oh, Terry Hatcher, you're right, Sid Ram. The 5 seconds she was in. Tomorrow Never Dies. But that was just amazing. I mean, I think we all knew he was going to win. He gave the emotional speech. And then the amazing thing of Indiana Jones giving out Harrison Ford giving out Best Picture, which I know was purely promotional, but worked out with the Kiwi Kwan thing. But then Kate Capshaw was there. So it supporting Spielberg. So it was like a total Temple of Doom reunion. I love that. They should have had the PG-13 rating there too. That was cool. Brendan Fraser, I haven't seen The Whale, so I can't really speak on that, but he seemed very overwhelmed, more so than you think it would. But he is a very emotional, real feeling guy, and I love that about him winning. I don't know if I'll see The Whale or not, but I'm happy that Brendan Fraser. I would like Brendan Fraser. He didn't thank Bugs, and I thought that was bullshit. He should have been like, by the way, back in action. I really brought it, I think. Even though I know Nathaniel Fogel feels differently, but we'll get to that in the questions. Cheers to you, Zane Powers. For the question which said, sorry, I'm an idiot, did Pussy Galore win any awards? Not to my knowledge. I want to get through all the winners, but I want to get through, I'm pouring the rest of this in here. The rest of the one acting thing I haven't talked about was Jamie Lee Curtis. I think supporting actress was the only acting category that no one was sure what was going to happen. It was a little more unpredictable. And Angela Bassett did look like she was disappointed when Jamie Lee Curtis won. And a lot of people were like, I think Stephanie Hsu did a great performance, and if it was just on performance, she probably would have won. But I think a lot of the Oscars looked at Buster. Okay. A lot of the Oscars looked at, would Jamie Lee Curtis be nominated ever again? And let's be real here, probably not. So I think they kind of looked at like her filmography is aged in the right way. Just recently we have a Halloween sequel that she stars. Okay, I gotta let Buster is not happy. Hold on. Come on. Do you want to leave? Alright. Sorry about that. Fraser, not Frasier. I like my tossed salad and scrambled eggs, not in back 64. So, Fraser. Apologies. If Ryan Walterson was here, he'd be like, Jim, of course. Cheers to you. Thank you for the super chat and the correction. But I think, look, Jamie Lee Curtis, just recently, like, there's a True Lies show on TV. Most of her filmography is aging in the right way, where people are talking about it. So many of her movies are like big Hollywood classics. The other thing I will say about in Angela Bassett's favor is that everyone's like, well, she'll win for something else. She hasn't been nominated since What's Love Got to Do with It in like the 90s. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, there's all these nominations for Angela Bassett or something. So I do sort of understand her being upset, but I think there's just too much going in Jamie Lee Curtis's favor. And it's also like she's doing all this stuff and she does she's supporting her trans daughter. She's doing all this stuff. I just think, I think it makes sense. So It just made too much sense. But I would have been nice for Angela Bassett to win. I think she's an incredible actress. It would have been nice for Stephanie Hsu to win, but we'll see. Yeah, I also think, like, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis is like a major force, and it's like, just let her have this one because it'll never probably. When will it happen again? She doesn't do those sort of movies, and I'm glad she brought that up. And I thought everyone did a good speech. All the actors did a good speech. Yeah, I did notice a lot of people were like, wait, her husband's Christopher Guest? Like, nobody talks about that. I was surprised. Nathaniel Focus says, funny how this has happened the year Looney Tunes Back in Action turns 20. That is funny. Cheers to you, Nathaniel Focus. Which is also weird, like, how come she's a very gifted comedic actress? Like, I know it's like we talk about horror and she does action and a big supporter of John Carpenter, but like she is a really good, like A Fish Called Wanda, Trading Places, like even Freaky Friday, like she is a really good comedic actress. I'm surprised she never did a Christopher Guest thing, but maybe like they never wanted to do that, but I always wondered why they did. Anyway, I do want to keep this on about an hour, so I want to go through the winners. I am going to talk about In Memoriam. You know what, let's just talk about In Memoriam quickly, because I think the biggest thing was Cheryl Dean, I believe, who was in Triangle of Sadness, which was nominated. How do you not talk about that? And you show actual clips of her. I thought that was a little shameful. I think Paul Sorvino, like you have Ray Liotta featured, as well as Elaine Ryan, David Warner, Topol. You just had Rico Browning, who was Gilman, Gilbert Gottfried, Marsha Hunt, who was one of the last leading ladies of the 30s. This is I wanted to bring this up also, that this is a Twitter thread that someone listed them all very nicely with pictures and everything. I will retweet that after the show. Anne Heche, that one I'm a little like, but she was, you know, a more, I guess, recent, and, you know, Harrison Ford was there. Melinda Dillon, who was in Close Encounters, for fuck's sake. Hugh Hudson, who directed a Best Picture winner, Chariots of Fire. Cindy Williams, who's in American Graffiti. And people are talking about Robert Blake. I think Robert Blake, honestly, that's a little more understandable, not because of the murder shit, because it just happened, and traditionally, unless you're like, if Marlon Brando died, of course they would include it. They usually don't do that. They usually wait a year. So I that one I was a little like, I don't think they would include Robert Blake, but I think that one I'll give them that. As well as the one they should have done was Sachin, I believe, Little Feather, who has probably one of the greatest Oscar moments anyone can think of with what happened with Marlon Brando. I thought that was a bit ridiculous. There are probably more. Yeah. Oh, okay. I wanted to bring up this QR code thing because I actually know something about this, not the Oscars doing the QR code. So everyone was like, I'd have to go up to my TV. That's actually not true. As someone who puts up stickers and flyers with QR codes, if you see a QR code and you zoom in on it with the iPhone, it will trigger it and it will work. So if you're ever like watching a thing like, who gets up on their fucking couch and is a fucking idiot, like, no, dude, you're being stupid. Like, you can just zoom in on your phone camera and it'll work. Like, you don't need to be so close to it. It'll work, by the way. It actually does. I have tested this a bunch of times. I'm not sure how far, but like, unless your TV's your TV would be really far for it not to work. Whoa, tripod decide to, okay. So anyway, if you're ever wondering that, because I've heard that criticism before, I'm like, no, you can actually zoom in. So I did not do that because I didn't check out the QR codes. I thought it was an interesting way to do it, and especially like adding people to the In Memoriam. I didn't think it was the most tasteful thing. I did like how they tried to do some film history stuff with the Michael B. Jordan cinematography thing with Citizen Kane, which then they didn't actually show the shot from Citizen Kane, which is actually pretty impressive and cool. Stuff like that. But no, No, QR code should come up just on the phone. It should, most modern phones should just do it through the camera. But I guess there are people who have them without QR codes, but I think that's fairly, it's more uncommon at this point, but we'll see. Catbot's phone died because of a QR code app. Jesus, I'm sorry, but most people, like, it's more common to have them just regularly built into the phone through the camera. But again, I don't know what phones you have and what country and stuff like that. But mostly, the last couple generations should just do it at this point based on updates. But again, I'm not a phone expert or something like that. Anyway, let's just go through all the winners. Where did I put that thing? Where did I put that? Okay, so I want to get to everyone. Hold on. Okay, this is hard to do with the chat and being okay. I just won't see myself that well. Okay, I want to make sure I get to all the winners because I would like to talk about all the winners. I've done all the acting ones. I'll talk about Sarah Polley real quick. It was pretty obvious after the WGA that they were going to go that way. There was some talk that would go to All Quiet, and that would mean possibly an upset at Best Picture. I think also with Sarah Polley, they looked at it more as, this is a great filmmaker. She has a legacy in Hollywood. She starred in the film Go, by the way. I think I was confused by the trivia they brought up. I was like, she was also in, like, Go. You could have just fucking said that shit. But she's a really celebrated female filmmaker. It was a way to give an Oscar to a female filmmaker, which I didn't hear much. I'm not saying, like, people didn't feel this way, but I felt there was more publicity about just female filmmakers in general not getting nominated until, like, the weekend before the Oscars, more so than I heard leading up to. I heard female filmmakers getting snubbed, but in general that they weren't any nominated up until then, which I thought was, like, kind of weird. But I thought her speech was really good. I'm kind of actually more curious to see the movie now. I thought she did a good speech. I'm glad a film that just got, like, not as much attention, and if we're being real, I think it didn't get as many nominations because it's an MGM movie. They got bought by Amazon. They don't have a great awards team over there on either side, and it just sort of got lost in the mix. But it still won an award for her. And it is interesting. Screenplay has become the best place for filmmakers to suddenly get Oscars nowadays. It's like Spike Lee, Sarah Polley. Like, I think the Daniels, when they won, were like, this is probably it, so let's do it. Anyway, I'm glad she won. I thought that was cool. I do kind of want to see women talking. I should see it. It's on Amazon Prime now, actually. We talked about visual effects. Okay, best costume design. Ruth Carter becomes it's her second Oscar. She's the first black woman to have two or multiple Oscars, which is I think the other thing is, like, as these wins they try to diversify, you realize, like, oh, it's 2023 and it's the first time you've done that. I don't feel good now. This sucks. Like you know what I mean? You're kind of like, oh, this is the first time in the year that is this year. Nice. So you're like, I'm glad you did it, but it makes me not feel great that it took this long. But best film editing went to Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think that was well deserved. It was a great edited film. I can't really talk on All Quiet on the Western Front too much. It was interesting as they're winning. I was like, this is a German film? None of these people sound German. And then at a certain point they brought the Germans out. Best makeup and hairstyling, a couple people were surprised to find out, and the Oscars mentioned this over the loudspeaker, that they used CGI to... she's the third black person in general to get more than one Oscar. Thank you, Cornbread, actually, for that. But first, I guess black... Oh, I guess, yeah, there would be Mahershala Ali, her, and I'm not sure who else. If anyone can tell me who else, that would be great. But makeup and hairstyling, because they use digital effects and people have a lot of issues with that movie, that was a little controversial. And three of the films nominated had people, skinnier people pretending to be fat, which is not great. It's not great. It's like not great. I kind of was like, can we just like keep giving these to Black Panther? Best production design, All Quiet. Best sound, Top Gun Maverick. I think because so many people are talking about the theatrical experience, it sort of makes sense because so many people saw this in IMAX as well and really heard all the booms and the explosions. I used to be a lot more into sound because I had the equipment and the time and could really get into those sort of things. Despite how wonderful my videos sound now, I guess. But they sound. I'm trying my best, but I sort of get it because everyone heard this. Like Top Gun was sold in the best theaters that there were, so it sort of makes sense when you Denzel Washington. Thank you, Cornbread. I'm an idiot. So it sort of makes sense that it would win. I think it. I would have liked. I will take a divergent here from just the winners, and I thought Tom Cruise should have been there. I thought more of the big legendary stars. Like I'm surprised Tom Hanks wasn't there. I'm surprised like Daniel Craig for Knives Out. Like you have these like legacy stars be there. Like let's sell Hollywood. Like we're selling the movies, and I felt like it was just like people who were big at the time or people who were selling something or things like that. Best original song. I'm really happy for Natu Natu. I think what also helped is like all the other songs that were nominated are fucking bummers, and the Everything Everywhere song was like straight up bad. I like forgot about that part, but like probably the worst of the song. But then yeah, I'm really happy. I like the performance. I sort of didn't get like everybody together. I thought like that's not really the performance. But whatever. Anyway, it's I'm happy for Natu Natu. I'm happy. The first Indian film nominated in that category won. That's amazing. And 2 Indian films won because another one won Best Short, I believe. Best Original Score also went to All Quiet. Best Animated Film. I don't know if I wanted My Year of Dicks to win, but I wanted something with a funny name. And like the one that like Apple was really pushing won, of course. But I don't know. I kind of like the ones I watched I liked a lot, but I didn't see that one and I didn't actually go... I don't know. I think people would have liked Tom Hanks and people like that more than people realize. I'm just saying this. There weren't people who weren't nominated were not really into being there, and I think that's like, come on, you are selling Hollywood. I think as an industry, people don't. Hollywood doesn't think of that with the Oscars, and they really should. Best live action short, The Irish Goodbye, that happy birthday acceptance speech thing was amazing. I really liked that, actually. I thought that was a wonderful moment. The Elephant Whisperers, which apparently is on Netflix. I was actually going to try to check that out. I don't know if I'll do a review, but we'll see. Best documentary feature. I don't know that film, but I know that had somewhat to do with the Ukraine thing, and they wouldn't let Zelensky speak. He also, like, I don't think the Zelensky thing works because the Oscars are so tight, and, like, what does that have to do with the movie? Like, I'm not trying to be, like, it's all about the movies, but it's the Oscars, not... I don't know. He's been turned away twice, but I thought that was a good way to be able to talk about that and be in context for the awards. Best international feature film was All Quiet, which of course it fucking was. I've heard a lot of good things about Argentina 1985, so maybe I'll watch it. I'm considering maybe I should actually watch All Quiet on the Western Front. I know the 30s one, and I think I saw it twice in the 90s, so I'm not, but I really liked that film and I remember a lot of it, but so I'm a little like, I don't know. I know Be Kind Rewind did a video comparing them, and I've heard it's decent or like whatever, but I don't know. It was great seeing Del Toro win. He's the first person to win. I haven't checked this out. I believe, didn't he win a screenplay for Pan's Labyrinth? But I know he's the first person to win animated feature, director, and picture. First person ever to win those. So that's pretty fucking cool. We talked about Best Adapted. The Daniels, I thought, did great acceptance speeches. I was worried after their Criterion Closet controversy. If you didn't see how the one Daniel Schreidner, I guess, described Malcolm X was like, oof. And I was like, oh man, I don't... this sucks. So I was worried about that, but they didn't do. They were actually really great and really happy and really appreciative of everyone. One thing I did like is they talked about everyone who worked on films when people won, and I thought that was amazing. And they did a great screenplay. They did a great job directing. And best picture they won as well. It was interesting. Why wasn't the Russo brothers, I thought, helped produce Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, why weren't they nominated? I'm curious about that. And yeah, Elvis didn't win anything. That's not shocking. It was the first time, I think, since 2017 or something that everyone who won for fictional characters and not playing someone who was famous. But yeah, it's hard. Okay, so the Little Mermaid thing. Let's go over that because we talked about in memoriam, and then we'll do. I think we're gonna close out with a bunch of questions, unless there's something else you want me to talk about after the Little Mermaid thing. So, a lot of critics who I really like and really. They did set up the Harrison Ford. That's actually something I would like to talk about. They set up the thing with Halle Berry and Harrison Ford. But the thing is, the Harrison Ford thing actually leads into, there's so much tweeting, like it's going to be Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren. It's going to be this, it's going to be that. I think the early Twitter reporting, it showed me that nobody knew what was going to happen for the Oscars. I was like, I'm going to not pay attention to this anymore. But I like the setups work because the Chadwick Boseman year, which it's also weird, like Chadwick Boseman has tribute in 2 different Oscar years. It's pretty insane. I don't think Heath Ledger got that. I'm not saying like he doesn't deserve it and what he means to the overall culture, and obviously both times were appropriate. I'm not saying that, but it is insane. Like, I don't think I've seen any actor get that kind of treatment. He absolutely deserves it, by the way. I think what he did with Black Panther was amazing, and he represents a lot. And they're both, one year he was nominated, and one year he was nominated. His film that very much his presence not being in it was felt. But it is kind of crazy to think he did get a tribute in both those years. But it did feel like those setups actually worked. And I think when they work well, because they really don't know and they legally can't know before they open the envelope. And I'm glad the Halle Berry thing worked out, and I'm glad the Harrison Ford thing worked out, because he could have been like, oh, it's Elvis. Hey, see Dial of Destiny, everybody. So the Disney thing, the Little Mermaid thing, I think I've said this before on a previous reaction, and I probably have, that I think, yes, we should play trailers at the Oscars. Seeing it actually done made me think we shouldn't. And I think the reason is look, I cover these things on these streams, and it's always hard to, like, I'm sure when I'm cleaning up this room or after the show's over and I'm taking my tie off, I'm going to be like, oh, fuck, I forgot to talk about this. There's a lot to cover in the Oscars in general. And how it works, like, let's say the Super Bowl, if I'm doing a segment on Movie Crap Live, I'm just using myself as an example here, but I think it's true for, like, any movie site. You're not going to cover the sports because, like, you're not a sports site or you're not a sports YouTuber. You're going to cover the trailers of the Super Bowl. And to put the trailers in the Oscars, that's just another thing of a million fucking things that you already have to talk about and cover. So I think it didn't really work in actuality, because, like, you're competing with, like, if you tweeted about it, it, like, scrolled, because everyone who's going to really cover it is then going to talk about whatever the next Oscar thing is right away after the commercial break. And, you know, I watched the full trailer today, not just the commercial thing. I did actually do that. But I don't think it really worked. I think it was a bad idea. I think what would be a better idea, honestly, is if they just had commercials for, like, John Wick 4 or, like, movies that are coming out soon, or, like, Creed 3 and movies that are in theaters. Just hype up the movies now, and, like, maybe let A24 have a good commercial for a movie they're really pushing later in the thing, and let every studio have their thing. But, like, the Disney is great thing, 100 years of Disney and 100 years of Warner Brothers. It's like, I get it, they are legacy studios, and you are selling Hollywood, but at the same time, first off, they sold things they acquired. They didn't, like, Warner Brothers didn't make Wizard of Oz. MGM fucking made Wizard of Oz, and MGM signed a better deal than those motherfuckers. And, like, where was the MGM thing? Couldn't MGM do it, or they would have to get because they sold their library. I get that is part of things they make royalties off of, but it's same with, like, I think Disney tried to not show classic Star Wars clips and stuff like that. They tried to show stuff they actually made, but I don't think either of those things worked, and Disney selling themselves didn't work as well. I just think it should be, don't do that shit. Just have more commercials for, like, there should have been a Guardians 3 commercial, you know what I mean? And it could have been a special Oscars cut, and, like, we'd kind of mention it, but, like, obviously, like, Michelle Yeoh is going to be the headline, you know? And, like, I feel like I heard more thank you, Marley. I think we heard more about the Jennifer Lawrence trailer for a dumb comedy she was in a couple days, like 5 days ago, than I'm hearing about Little Mermaid. And like that to me, it didn't work. Like I would love to see the numbers, and those numbers are real sketchy because they count like, oh, well, on TikTok and some of those collabs, and on the Twitter video and Instagram Reels, and on this it added up to 50 million, and I'm like, I don't know if that I don't know if I agree with that, but yeah, it's like if you had put out the Little Mermaid trailer later, it would have worked. But just sell the stuff like we've already seen, and maybe do let a couple small movies have spots, because you quote unquote Hollywood really believes in small movies for a night. And let A24 and like other studios have little slots like that, but then just like do that. That's fine, and you're not taking away from trying to adding a thing that everyone has to cover, and you're going to just get lost in the fuzz. You're not going to do that at all. It's just not going to work. So just leave it. Like I don't think it was like, people got really upset and were like, oh, it's so groaning. I'm like, it's all promotion, so I don't really care, to be honest with you. Just because it's promotion for Little Mermaid, they still promoted Top Gun a ton too, and that's military propaganda. So like, let's maybe chill the fuck out on the seriousness of this. And I was noticing people going like, well, the Oscars are always stupid. To be 100% clear on why the Oscars were invented, and I saw a lot of people saying the Louis B. Mayer quote about how they made it to distract them. That Louis B. Mayer quote is, to my understanding, true. I'm not saying it's not. But the Oscars were actually invented so people took movies more seriously, because there was a time where people didn't consider it a real art form. If you guys saw Babylon, you'd know that. Jeez. Sorry. I do. I have a Babylon review. I need to shoot that soon, because whoa, baby. But I did like Jimmy Kimmel's Babylon joke, and this room tone joke was good too. But it was made to like get you to take the movies more seriously. That's honestly why it was created. And I think they also understood the promotional opportunities, and like the hiding, like confusing the unions thing. That sure, it played into it as it became more of a thing, but like it was really it was really just a thing to be like. And at the time, you needed to do that. It's the same reason like why auteur theory happened. They're like, we need people to take this movie seriously as an actual art form. And at the time it made sense. Why these are still things 95 years later and we haven't evolved from them is a question I always ask myself. But I think we should be changing those. I'm just watching Marvel movies and Barbie now just because you said that. I'm glad I'm doing the work. I didn't mind the Cocaine Bear thing, by the way. I thought that a lot of people thought it should have been Matt Damon. I think it should have been someone. Like, I really was disappointed that it didn't pop off in like, oh, thank you, Marley. I like Marley's idea. A new award show called The Trickies. Jim wins handsomest YouTube host. That's very nice. You're really buttering me up, man. All right. I'm going to do questions. I think we've covered everything. If you have a question or you have a super chat, I still have some Red Bull in that champagne glass. Which I also saw A$AP Rocky holding a champagne glass. Cheers to A$AP Rocky for actually being like a normal fucking dude. I like when dudes are normal dudes. I don't know. Is it A$AP Rocky? I don't know any of his fucking music at all. I'm serious. I know the other one. The other guy. It's just A$AP Rock or something. I can't. Look, I don't know. Rihanna's great. That's all I know. I loved how she showed up. It is like all those songs are such bummers, man. Right? It's like it's like that's I think why Natu has such great energy. It's like let's like not nominate so many like the Rihanna thing made sense, and like I get the Lady Gaga thing, but like to a certain point. Oh yeah, that was the one thing. Sorry, the one thing I like that was for the kids is the thing that Sophie got to watch before she went to bed, is the Diane Warren song from a movie. Apparently, like literally even critics are like, who saw this thing? Was one of the girls from Descendants. And I was like, I'm glad they loaded it with like who the kids who could stay up could care about, because it was Evie from Descendants. If you know Descendants, she had a good year. She was in the Purple Heart Netflix thing, which was a big hit. But she's in all 3 Descendants movies. You didn't think I'd seen those, but I have. And I don't know. I'm more partial to Descendants too, maybe. I don't know. Oh, all right. So these We're going to do questions now. We're going to do the 2 Patreon ones first. We can load this up. All right. 2 Patreons. Nathaniel Fogel, what's a past Brendan Fraser performance you would have wanted to see win an Oscar, let alone get a nomination? For me, it's obviously Monkey Bone. I'm going to give one answer that you guys will like and one you probably haven't heard of. And I actually do mean both. One is Looney Tunes Back in Action, because it's hard. Like, I think only him and Jim Carrey have done the thing where they match the energy of a cartoon character next to them. And I'm never doubting that they're together on screen. I actually think that's hard. I don't think, because there's so many people who don't do it well, and I think he did a good job. And also, The Quiet American is a movie I saw with him in it, and I think he was doing a lot of cooler, smart movies when he was being a huge mummy movie star that we don't appreciate, like Gods and Monsters is another. But I want to say The Quiet American, I haven't seen it in a long time, but actually pretty underrated, about Vietnam before I think the U.S. got fully involved. It's been a little bit, but him and Michael Caine, he really held his own against Michael Caine, by the way. So I'll give you a real movie answer, like not a real, but like a more serious movie. So Quiet American, Looney Tunes Back in Action. Austin here. I love these, Austin. Hey Jim, what a great show. I got 2 questions for you. Do you think that the suit they used for Cocaine Bear was the same one they used for the Revenant? I don't know. Well, they do have that museum now, so maybe. Question 2: Who had the best outfit of the night for? Who had the best outfit of the night for? It was Jonathan Majors and that long tie and Ruth Carter. I did like Jonathan Majors. I liked Stephanie Hsu. I thought looked cute. That woman with the big thing that was everyone was upset was blocking people. I thought that was kind of actually cool. I like Angela Bassett. I'm not a big fashion person. I watching the red carpet, and they had Vanessa Hudgens doing the red carpet, and she used to date Austin Butler and told him he should do Elvis, and then like he was coming down the red carpet, and like, is Vanessa Hudgens? I never care about this stuff, but is Vanessa Hudgens going to interview Austin Butler? And then they had the other person do it. I was like, the thing I was like telling my wife, like, are they going to do it? This is going to be crazy. It's going to be awkward, and they didn't do it. I thought that was real stupid. I heard the Lorraine Cox one on E was better, so I fucked up there. I just watched the ABC one. All right, let's go to the top. What? I like Marley did watch it. Check. A lot of people just told me they just checked Twitter for the Oscars, which is interesting. I guess Twitter's better than Jimmy Kimmel. Well, yeah, that's probably funnier. Okay. Where's the Razzies one? Okay, I see it. I do want to talk about the Razzies. Thank you for saying something, Zim Powers. And by the way, Zim Powers, I'm sorry if I was like a little down. Thank you for any suggestions on what I should do. I actually do appreciate it, and I will think about them, and I will do a test stream to figure some more technical stuff out. It's just more of a time thing, but thank you. I do actually appreciate it. I'm sorry if I sounded a little more serious there or something like that. Cornbread, give me the hard reads for animation nominations for next year. I know you haven't seen the movies yet. That's a part of the challenge. I don't think Super Mario Brothers will get nominated. I'm going to say that right now. I don't care how good or not good that movie is. What is Pixar coming out with? I'd say whatever Pixar or Disney getting there, obviously. I think DreamWorks could. God, I don't even know what they have coming out now that I think about it. But I'm going to go for a left field choice. I think Pixar, the brand has been diminished so much, I don't think that they'll get another one for a little bit. Even though I think if Turning Red had won, it would have been good. I think, yeah, I just don't think Super Mario. Isn't there another one coming out this year in the summer or something? Anyway, the Wish thing that Disney, yeah, Disney's gonna, if that is actually good, I bet you that wins. If that is actually good, big question there, I guess. I'll say Wish right now. The Wish, though, isn't that, I think that's this year. Maybe I'm wrong. See, the other problem is I'd have to have a list that's accurate in front of me, and I do not. Zane Powers, I'm going to drink more of this Red Bull. Did Sally Fields actually say you like me, really, really like me? I've heard she didn't exactly say that, but she said close. You know what? Fuck it. Like, I think winning Oscars is overwhelming and people say weird shit. That's what I think. What was the weirdest Oscars acceptance speech this year? Catbot. The weirdest. I almost want to say Brendan Fraser because I was surprised by, like, how much he felt it. That kind of shocked me. I thought it was like they cut off the visual effects. I thought that was disrespectful. I don't know if that was weird. Um, yeah, I don't know if anyone was that weird, unfortunately. Anyway, I think everyone just like was happy. Anyway, let's see, thoughts on the Razzie stuff. Same Powers. So they actually, the only thing, I mean, a bunch of Morbius, I think, won or something. I actually don't remember, but I did notice. So they took out the underage girl from Firestarter, which was a weird nomination because who even remembers Firestarter, the remake? But then they took out they made her they took her out and put nomination redacted, and people could vote on nomination redacted, and that won. And I thought that was actually kind of funny. Like that was like maybe one of the best Razzie gags I've seen in a while. That the biggest movie failure was their own failure. I was like, I'll give you that, guys. That I thought was actually kind of funny. I think the Razzies need to be overhauled, like more so than the Oscars. Like they definitely like seriously though. Why doesn't Neil Breen and Tommy Wiseau should be like the Meryl Streep of those fucking things? Like that should be like it should be the bad movie Oscars, and it's not, and it stinks, and I hate that about it. Okay, Dax. Hold on. This is not done in a very official way. Just me. You see me scrolling the comments. Okay. What do you think of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer? I actually really like it. I was tweeting about it, but it's basically like, I think that April O'Neil being black thing isn't a big deal because most of the kids who are watching it know her from Rise at this point. It looked fun and had a good kid energy. I'm excited to take my daughter. Man, I want that to win right now, actually. I take it back. I want that to win. But I liked it. I thought it was good. Ninja Turtles is always changing, always evolving. It doesn't look as good as Rise, but I haven't seen the whole thing, so I won't fully hate it for that yet. But I still liked it. It looked like a fun version. From what we saw in the trailer, I was like, I'm down. I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna take my kid. I'm 2 tickets right there. Cornbread. Why didn't Elvis win anything? I was told it was the movie of the year. This is a joke. I thought it would win sound, to be honest. I thought it would win something. I was a little surprised. I think it might just have been... I think it's just like a lot, and I think there were questions of like... I didn't love that it wasn't as like... He really robbed... Colonel Tom Parker really robbed one of the great performers of our time of a career he should have had, and I think the film sort of focused on that, but more focused on just like what happened, and I think that sort of hurt it in the end, because the real tragedy of Elvis is like he was an amazing performer, and then he went into the army, and then he had the shitty movie career, and by any time he tried to come out of it, he couldn't, and it's because of Colonel Tom Parker was like holding him back, honestly. And I wish it sort of focused on that, but not to my liking. And I'm not a huge Elvis fan though, but that's how I've always saw it. Zane Powers, I'm not the biggest fan of that movie, so I think some people are like, I don't know. I think it was a little surprising, I will say that. Zane Powers, why are people so down on clips on ties you can't even tell the difference when looking at it? I don't know why I don't have a clip on tie, but that's true. I don't know why people are weird about that shit. So the suit is only used for Oscar streams, right, Nathaniel Foga? It does sometimes, but it's mainly used... I did get a lot of cat hair off this to do this stuff. Because Toulouse sleeps back there. Question, is that a real museum? Where is it? I'm assuming you mean the Academy Museum. I've heard it's a real museum. So... that's cool. How would you feel if Nick Cage was in the bear suit? I think that would be great. I think people would love it. People love Nick Cage. Not plausible. What do you think of the recently announced Sesame Street NFTs? I think it is a shitty idea, and I don't like it, and I don't think they should be pushing that. Now that you're into beards, are you down for neck beards? Not really. I do like. I mean, this is kind of typical like Brooklyn dad, to be honest with you. But I do like it, and I get compliments on it, so. That's been nice. I think I'm going to keep it a little shaggy, but the problem is I ride the subway every day, and when I wear a mask, like this is like back here, and because I don't know, I'm getting a little actually away from the mask, mainly because of this, but I might trim it up. Anyway, sorry, I don't know if that was the right answer, but whatever. What do you think? What do you think Lydia Tar would feel now, not Blanchett, as in Tar? I think she would be really upset. I thought they should have had Kate Blanchett attack someone on stage. I thought that would have been funny since it was... Anyway. Zane Powers, would you say you have a lot of drip when you go out in public? No, I probably not. Probably not. I look pretty schlubby. So, Nathaniel Foga, what's a Baz Luhrmann film you feel deserves an Oscar, let alone a nomination? I think Romeo and Juliet is probably his best of these crazy adaptation editing thing. I've never seen Strictly Ballroom, but I think Romeo and Juliet's gonna live on a lot longer than people realize. I think to be real. Would you watch Cocaine Bear if it's not CG and just a guy? Fuck yes, I would watch a guy in a bear suit. That, yes, I would. I like that better, to be honest with you. I like the bear suit idea. Everyone was like, that would be horrible, and I was like, what the fuck? No, I love men in suit. Question: Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel. I would actually go Jimmy Kimmel. He angers me less. When is the Pauly Shore comeback going to happen? You know what? I would like Pauly Shore to come out. I think the Oscars needs to loosen up. If you follow me, I'm sorry, I'm like pushing my Twitter. I don't mean to, but there was this clip someone found of like Ed 309 or whatever from RoboCop and Pee Wee Herman at the Oscars. It was like amazing. Like, do more fun shit like that. It's the Oscars, you know. Elemental. That's gonna win, isn't it? You know what? Let Ninja Turtles win. Let's do that. Question: while being nice, is the Chadwick tribute odd considering the weirdness of the Best Actor scenario that year and the NFT yuck? True. A little, but I think it worked more because Wakanda Forever did come out and he keeps being in the conversation. If they were just like bringing it up randomly, it'd be weirder. But like Wakanda Forever, like you can't watch that movie and not talk about him. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of it. Nathaniel Fogo, will Sonic get a nomination? I think so. You know what's interesting? I've noticed kids and my daughter know Sonic way better than they know Mario. I'm curious how that changes with this movie, but we'll see. Okay, you know what, Marley? I have not seen Australia. I apologize for that one. That is one I have not seen. That and Strictly Ballroom. Not plausible. Have you or Sophie started watching Amphibia? No, we are watching Moon Girl, which we like a lot. But we have not watched that, unfortunately. I think we missed that one. Miyazaki's next movie is next year? Yeah, but is it, though? Is it? Think about it. Has Miyazaki ever delivered anything on time? It'll be done when he says it's done. What did Creech think of the Oscars? Creech, he texted me, and Creech from Monster Trucks did say he was really happy for Everything Everywhere All at Once. But he wanted Space Whales to win. He thought Avatar should have won everything. So, is Driving Miss Daisy a good movie, divorced from it winning Best Picture? I have not seen that movie, so I cannot talk about it. But, yeah, that's basically it. I haven't seen. I sort of saw it once, but like I need to sit down with it, I guess. I don't really want to, but maybe at some point. Do you think we'll see an animated film win the Academy Award for Best Picture this decade? No, I don't. To be honest, I think I would hope it happens in my lifetime. That's my hope at this point, but I don't see. I mean, I would like that to happen, and I've heard a lot of people for Sony literally say we should have pushed Spider-Verse more, but I don't think that could have won. But I think it could have gotten a nomination. Oh man, we have a Spider-Verse movie. I should have had a list. All right, let's do a couple questions because it is definitely over an hour. Do you think no, I don't. I answered the Mario thing pretty much. Super Dusky says, is Murder Bear from Venture Brothers in the Cocaine Bear suit? Oh my god, that would be an amazing reference. I would love it. That would be cool. We would only get that, but it would just be for us, I guess. SamWow1818, do you think they should add some animation categories like Best Voice Actor? I wouldn't mind that, but I think it would just end up going to Hollywood celebrities, but I guess more people would watch, so probably be cool. Wouldn't it be fun if the Turtles would turn out bad? Not that I'm hoping. I hope it's great. Okay, what's your favorite Todd Haynes movie? I'm trying to I guess didn't he do Velvet Goldmine? I would say that one. I just have a fondness for that. If I'm right about, I should know that. You know what? I'm going to look up. Hold on. This is embarrassing. Sorry. It's been a long day. I was actually a little hungover from the Oscars because somebody thought, hey, let's have a lot of alcohol. Oh, Mildred Pierce was fucking good, though. He did do Velvet Goldmine. Oh, Far From Heaven's good, too. And I like Carol. I'm still going to go with Velvet Goldmine. I don't care. All right. Sorry. On a on a scale of 1 to 10, Bowser Fenner is going to be after the Mario movie comes out and people hear Black's whole performance. I don't know. I just know Izzy's going to make some good stuff. That's all I know. It's going to get crazy. Question was, oh, yes. Not plausible. Sometimes I wonder what's Creech doing. Like, he's an old friend. I don't really keep in touch anymore. All right. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the super chats. No, Sophie was not encouraging me drinking. But I did have a fun time. I hope you had a fun time with the Oscars. It's all kind of silly and dumb, but a really good movie that I think, and I said this in my review, and I seriously do mean it, I do think in 23 years, when we talk about this era, Everything Everywhere All at Once will be on the list of the best films. I think that is fairly obvious, and it's really cool when certain things like Moonlight or Parasite or this win, because it restores kind of your faith in cinema, because you're like, I can't believe, because it, like when Fury Road didn't really go that far, you're like, is this, is cinema alive? And then you watch stuff like this and you're like, fuck yeah, bro. I didn't want to say fuck yeah, bro. Oh well, that's lame. Whatever. I don't know when the next video will come out. I think Wednesday or Thursday. But I want to thank you all for being really cool and enjoying my content and just being, you're a great audience, and thank you for sticking with me and all that stuff. I hope you all have a great night and great great week and all that stuff. And yeah, I hope you had a good Oscars. Let's do a, where's my little camera? Let's do a cheers at the end here. Cheers. Oh my God, Red Bull's gross. Anyway, thank you very much. Peace out to all of you. I will see you all streaming in a little bit, and I think the next video will be Wednesday. We'll see what it is, I think. Anyway, maybe not Wednesday, maybe Thursday. Anyway, there'll be a video this week, and I hope you enjoy it, and thank you all for being here. And happy Oscars. It's all over, and now we can talk about not the Oscars, I guess. Anyway, see Skinamarink. It's awesome. Peace out. I will see you all next time. Have a good night.